Welcome to Cruise News, your daily update on everything happening at sea. Visit cruisenews.io to see today's stories and sign up for email alerts.
And today we are tracking a pretty fascinating structural shift happening across the entire maritime travel sector.
Yeah, we're really watching cruise lines strategically pivot away from, those generalized one-size-fits-all sailings. They're starting to focus heavily on highly curated programming instead.
Right, they're building these incredibly complex itineraries that are centered entirely around personal passions or massive shared national celebrations and even deeply immersive cultural entertainment.
It's like the fundamental premise of what a cruise actually is. Well, it's changing for you as a passenger. The ship is no longer just this vessel moving you between ports of call. The programming itself is really becoming the primary destination.
Exactly. And we have three major announcements today that reflect this industry-wide shift, and they span the luxury, mass market, and premium transatlantic sectors.
So to understand the mechanics of this shift, I think we should look first at the luxury sector, right?
Yeah.
Because that's where the focus gets highly targeted.
Yeah, absolutely. So Azamara Cruises just announced a specialized global program for 2028 that focuses exclusively on the sport of golf.
Oh, wow. Exclusively on golf.
Entirely on golf. And to execute this, they are partnering with Premier Golf, which is a specialized golf travel management company based in Alpharetta, Georgia. And they've actually been operating in this specific niche since they were founded in 1988.
Okay, so they have a lot of experience.
Right. And through this partnership, Azamara is adding 23 dedicated golf-focused cruises to its 2028 deployment schedule.
I mean, the geographic footprint of a 23-cruise deployment is pretty substantial.
It's massive. They are scheduling these across Europe, Asia, Australia, New Zealand, and the Americas.
But looking at the specific routing details they released, it seems like Asia is being positioned as a major focal point for the launch of this program.
Yeah, that's right. Azamara's newest deployment really highlights specific itineraries in Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, and Southeast Asia. It's a highly deliberate targeting strategy.
Because they aren't just marketing to the casual vacationer, right?
You're right.
The person who might play a quick round of golf if they have some free time.
No, not at all. They are targeting the dedicated golf enthusiast demographic. So that includes PGA professionals, established golf clubs, and affinity groups. The packages designed by Premier Golf will tie these select Azamara sailings to some very specific, globally recognized named courses.
Right, like what kind of courses are we talking about?
Well, the list of included courses features Valderrama in Spain, the Cabot Bordeaux Golf Club in France, Royal Portrush in Northern Ireland.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Kingsbarns in Scotland, and the Old Head Golf Links in Ireland.
I mean, let's just pause and look at the logistics of playing that specific roster of courses. Because getting tee times at places like Royal Portrush or Kingsbarns, well, it usually requires navigating lotteries or private memberships or years of advanced booking.
It's incredibly difficult.
Right. And furthermore, trying to string those courses together independently would just be an administrative and logistical nightmare for an individual traveler. I mean, the flights, the hotel transfers, and just the equipment transport alone would require days of travel time.
Yeah, transporting clubs is never fun.
Exactly. So this really highlights the evolving value proposition of a luxury cruise. Azamara is effectively turning the vessel into a floating luxury clubhouse.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, the ship itself becomes this logistical vehicle designed to seamlessly connect prestigious land-based fairways that are otherwise separated by oceans and, frankly, incredibly complex travel arrangements.
That is precisely the operational strategy they are leveraging here. The corporate buying power of the cruise line secures the access, and the ship solves all the transportation logistics.
Right.
And the onboard and onshore programming heavily reflects that clubhouse model you mentioned. So to maintain the authenticity of the experience, every single one of these 23 selected sailings will have a PGA Professional on board.
Wow, every single one.
Every single one. And Azamara is also structuring the daily schedule around the sport. So they're adding golf-themed social events, specific welcome and farewell gatherings, and dedicated lectures and educational sessions.
And what about ashore?
Ashore, beyond the access to the main courses, they are offering optional resort golf packages that passengers can book either before or after the cruise to extend the trip.
Dondra Ritzenthaler, the chief executive officer of Azamara, she actually addressed this strategy directly in the announcement. She stated, quote, "Golf and travel have always shared a spirit of discovery.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
she emphasized that the partnership with Premier Golf is designed to offer, quote, unique access to some of the world's most celebrated golf destinations. She specifically noted that this level of land-based access pairs exceptionally well with Azamara's signature operational model.
Right, because their model relies heavily on longer port stays and late-night departures.
Exactly, which gives you, the passenger, the actual time required to complete an 18-hole round and then commute back to the harbor without rushing.
And the Asia-Pacific itineraries demonstrate this perfectly. In that region, guests will have access to the Tokyo Golf Club in Japan, the 7 Mile Beach Golf Club in Tasmania, and the New South Wales Golf Club in Australia.
But, I mean, from a business perspective,
Mm-hmm.
making this work actually requires an overhaul of their distribution network.
Yeah, it does, because selling a standard luxury cruise is a very different conversation than selling a high-level golf package to a scratch golfer.
Right. I really have to question if the standard travel advisor is genuinely equipped to handle questions about course difficulty or handicaps and specific fairways at Cabot Bordeaux.
Well, that is the exact friction point Azamara is attempting to solve with this announcement. So, travel advisors who sell these sailings will earn a 10% commission on the value of a client's golf package.
Yep, that's a good incentive.
Yeah, and to ensure the advisors can actually close those sales, Azamara is adding a dedicated Premier Golf chapter to the Azamara World Academy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it provides specialized training so advisors know exactly how to promote, discuss, and sell these specific golf experiences to a highly discerning clientele. Now, the departure-by-departure details and direct booking access won't be available for a few more months, but this initiative fits perfectly into Azamara's broader strategic roadmap of land-heavy investments.
We've definitely seen that heavily in their recent deployments. I mean, this golf initiative follows their previously announced 2027 Overland program.
Right, the one that introduces those extended 2 to 5 day land journeys.
Yeah, in Asia, Africa, South America, and the South Pacific, where guests actually leave the ship for days at a time. It also aligns with their 2027 return to Alaska after a 7-year absence, where they will operate from June through August across Alaska and Western Canada.
They are definitely heavily investing in specialized land-integrated products.
But this actually brings us to an interesting industry contrast. If a luxury line like Azamara can curate a specialized experience for a few hundred golfers, what happens when a mass market line attempts to curate a sailing for thousands of people at once?
Yeah, that's a whole different scale. And to answer that, we look to Carnival Cruise Line. They are applying this concept of curated sailings to the mass market by leveraging a shared national celebration.
The 250th anniversary, right?
Exactly. Carnival is currently undertaking a massive fleet-wide operational rollout to align with the United States semi-quincentennial. And on June 28, 2026, Carnival officially launched its America 250 Shipboard Community Celebration Series.
The logistics of this launch were highly coordinated. This inaugural event took place aboard the Carnival Pride at the Port of Baltimore, specifically docking at the South Locust Point terminal.
Right.
And the ship then departed at 4:30 p.m. for a 7-night Bahamas sailing. The routing included scheduled calls at Nassau, Princess Cays, and Celebration Key, and they did this deliberately to position the ship to be at sea on the exact date of July 4.
And the audience for that launch event in Baltimore was heavily curated by the line. Carnival hosted invited community partners, veterans, first responders, business leaders, and public officials.
Really treating it like a major civic event.
Absolutely. Christine Duffy, the president of Carnival Cruise Line, outlined their institutional approach to the national anniversary. She stated, quote, "As America's cruise line, we're proud to celebrate America's 250th anniversary in our home port cities. We're bringing people together to honor our nation, celebrate the local community, and thank those who protect our freedom."
The visual and ceremonial elements of the Baltimore launch are definitely setting the operational template for what they're going to execute fleet-wide. To give you an idea of the scale here, guests boarding the Carnival Pride were met with a 40-foot patriotic Uncle Sam hat installed directly on the top deck.
A 40-foot hat. That's quite a visual.
Yeah, it is. And the formal program included a historic color guard, the national anthem, and a specific military tribute directed at active duty service members, veterans, and first responders. Oh, and they also featured Dr. Seuss's The Cat in the Hat in patriotic attire, which really signals how deeply the children's programming is being integrated into this overarching anniversary theme.
And those military honors are a significant logistical component of this entire operation. At the Baltimore event, active duty members and veterans received limited edition America 250 Challenge coins.
Nice.
But fleet-wide, During all sailings the week of July 4, Carnival has arranged for one military family on each voyage to receive a United States flag that has been officially flown over the U.S. Capitol.
Wow, that's a really special touch.
It is. And furthermore, all veterans and active duty military guests sailing on those dates will receive a special edition pin. Beyond the passenger amenities, they are actually making physical modifications to the naval architecture of the ships themselves.
Oh, right, the crests.
Yes. A large, from sea to shining sea crest is currently being added to the bows of their U.S.-based ships, and that installation process is beginning with the Carnival Magic and the Carnival Legend.
Inside the ships, the food, beverage, and entertainment programming has been pretty rigidly structured around the anniversary, too. The daily lineup includes red, white, and blue deck parties and these USYAY parties that feature coordinated balloon drops.
USYAY, yeah.
Yeah. And on the beverage side, they're stocking limited edition America 250 souvenir Coca-Cola cans
Yeah.
and serving a specifically branded America's Cruisin' beer. John Heald, Carnival's brand ambassador, actually released a July 4 menu for the main dining rooms as well.
Oh, what's on the menu?
It includes a patriotic red, white, and blue spinach salad, barbecue chicken, and the Great American Apple Pie served with vanilla ice cream.
Okay, sounds pretty traditional. But, the onboard menus and deck parties, that's basically standard cruise operations. Where this story becomes a matter of complex maritime logistics is how Carnival is executing the next phase of the celebration out on the open water.
Right.
Because Carnival is orchestrating massive multi-ship meetups on July 4.
And this is where we really need to stop and look at the sheer scale of what is being attempted. I mean, on the East Coast alone, 7 massive commercial vessels. That's the Carnival Venezia, the Carnival Elation, the Carnival Conquest, the Carnival Glory, the Carnival Pride, the Carnival Sunrise, and the Carnival Freedom. They're all scheduled to gather together in the open water near Celebration Key.
7 ships just sitting in open water.
Exactly. And for context, Celebration Key is Carnival's Grand Bahama private destination that just opened in July 2025.
The operational complexity of that maneuver is staggering. I mean, you are looking at synchronizing the navigation and routing of 7 separate commercial vessels, which are carrying tens of thousands of passengers and crew, and having them hold position in open water at a precise time purely for a synchronized East Coast fireworks show.
Right.
It requires immense navigational planning, heavy coordination with maritime authorities, and very strict adherence to safety protocols to group that much tonnage in one sector of the ocean.
Exactly. This is what fundamentally challenges the traditional idea of cruising as a static port-to-port itinerary. The port is not the focus here at all. We're looking at dynamic, fleet-level orchestration designed entirely for a singular momentary celebration.
Yeah.
And this is not just an East Coast operation. On the West Coast, the Carnival Firenze, the Carnival Radiance, and the Carnival Luminosa will hold specific positions for optimal passenger viewing of the Port of San Diego's Big Bay Boom, which is a massive regional event where Carnival serves as the official cruise line sponsor.
And that sponsorship really highlights how Carnival is using corporate partnerships to reinforce this deployment strategy. I mean, they are an official partner of the America 250 initiative, which is the formal national commemoration developed through the congressionally created U.S. Semi-Quincentennial Commission.
Right.
They also financially supported the Virginia Sail 250 fireworks show in Norfolk, which took place on June 20, and they are sponsoring the Miami-Dade 250 Independence Day celebration on July 4.
And the Home Port Celebration Series extends beyond just the ships at sea. It includes scheduled community events on June 30 aboard the Carnival Radiance while it's docked in Long Beach. And then they follow that with 2 more pierside events on July 2, one on the Carnival Elation in Jacksonville and another on the Carnival Paradise in Tampa.
They are really covering all the bases.
Yeah. And it is worth noting briefly that the broader industry is recognizing the commercial value of these specific calendar-driven events. MSC Cruises has also announced their own special cocktails and activities for July 4 programming across its ships sailing from U.S. home ports.
So we have Azamara curating for a highly specific passion like golf, and we have Carnival leveraging a massive one-off national celebration, but Cunard is actually taking a distinctly different approach to the curated experience.
How so?
Well, rather than focusing on a sport or a calendar date, Cunard is permanently embedding high-level cultural entertainment into its fleet-wide identity. They have just announced their 2027 entertainment program, which establishes 4 returning event voyages specifically on their flagship, the Queen Mary 2, as well as an entirely new series of entertainment residencies that will operate across their entire fleet.
Meaning the Queen Mary 2, the Queen Anne, the Queen Elizabeth, and the Queen Victoria.
Exactly.
Katie McAllister, the president of Cunard, defined this strategy pretty clearly. She stated, quote, "Entertainment has always been central to the Cunard experience, and our 2027 program brings together world-leading cultural partners in a way that only Cunard can."
And she's not exaggerating about the partners.
Right, because this is not an internal cruise line production team just putting on a generic review.
Yeah.
Right? This program relies on formal, contracted partnerships with established, high-prestige cultural institutions. We are talking about the Olivier Awards, the English National Ballet, the National Symphony Orchestra, and the team behind the Times and Sunday Times Cheltenham Literature Festival.
Yeah, looking at the specific Queen Mary 2 event voyages for 2027, the schedule is highly structured to appeal to specific artistic demographics. So from July 16 to 23, 2027, they will host Dance the Atlantic, which is presented in direct partnership with the English National Ballet.
That sounds incredible.
It does. This voyage will feature principal international dancers alongside a daily schedule of talks and workshops focused entirely on ballet technique and history. And then later in the year, from October 1st to 8, 2027, Anthony Inglis and the National Symphony Orchestra will sail on the Queen Mary 2.
And that's actually a notable milestone, isn't it?
Yeah, it marks the orchestra's 18th consecutive year partnering with the line. During this crossing, passengers can attend lectures, Q&A sessions, and a guest choir will even rehearse throughout the week ahead of a joint performance with the professional orchestra.
And following the orchestra, from October 20 to 27, 2027, Cunard is going to run a program called Theater at Sea. This is a transatlantic crossing partnered directly with the Olivier Awards. So for you, the passenger, this means engaging with live performances, acting workshops, and backstage programming that is directly connected to the UK's premier theater awards season.
Very highbrow.
Yeah. And finally, rounding out the year from December 2 to 9, 2027, they will host the Literature Festival at Sea. Curated by the Cheltenham Literature Festival team, this voyage brings recognized authors, major journalists, and professional speakers on board for dedicated week-long literary events.
And what is really new for this cycle is that in addition to these specific event voyages on the flagship, Cunard is rolling out fleet-wide entertainment residencies.
Which means they travel across the brand.
Exactly, specialized productions traveling across all their ships. The slate includes the Truman Capote talk show, The Essence of Audrey, which is a biographical production inspired by Audrey Hepburn, who is notably a former Cunard guest, and a music history production called Frozen Love, a Buckingham Nicks story.
Oh, detailing the early relationship of Stevie Nicks and Lindsay Buckingham.
Right. And they are also staging literary and dramatic works, including An Afternoon Stroll with Hilaire Belloc and A Ghost Among the Living.
You know, there's a really vital distinction here between standard cruise entertainment and what Cunard is attempting with these residencies and event voyages.
Which is?
Well, the mechanism of a transatlantic crossing, which the Queen Mary 2 primarily operates, means there are no ports of call for 7 days.
Oh, right.
This ship has to become the destination. By partnering with the Olivier Awards and the English National Ballet, Cunard is essentially transforming the ocean liner into a floating West End institution. Instead of offering standard song and dancer view shows that are basically designed as after-dinner background noise, they are asking the passenger to actively engage with literature, ballet, and biographical theater. The passenger is booking the ship entirely because of the programming, rather than booking a vacation where the programming happens to just be a secondary benefit.
Yeah, that's a huge shift in consumer mindset. And to understand the market positioning and the viability of this strategy, we can actually look at the historical pricing and context of these cultural voyages.
Yeah.
This dedicated event model originally evolved from their 2016 Transatlantic Fashion Week, which proved that passengers would cross the Atlantic specifically for a theme.
Right.
Now, while Cunard has not yet released the final 2027 fares or the specific ship-by-ship residency dates, we do have the data from the 2026 phase. That phase covered 5 7-night itineraries operating from May through November on the Queen Mary 2 and the Queen Anne.
And what did those look like?
Well, for those culturally driven sailings, the published Britannia Balcony starting fares range from $1,529 to $2,349 per person.
So, synthesizing today's reporting from Azamara, Carnival, and Cunard, we're really observing a maritime travel industry that is rapidly segmenting into highly specific, meticulously curated niches.
Without a doubt.
Whether you are a passenger chasing pars at Valderrama with a PGA Professional on board, or floating in open water next to 6 other massive ships for a synchronized national semi-quincentennial fireworks display, or, studying the finer points of ballet with the English National Ballet across the Atlantic, we really may be witnessing the end of the traditional generalist cruise.
It absolutely forces the industry and you, the consumer, to ask a structural question about the future of maritime travel. I mean, in the coming decade, will a cruise simply be defined by the singular personal passion, the cultural institution, or the massive celebration it caters to rather than the geographic ports it visits?
Thanks for listening to Cruise News. Visit cruisenews.io to catch up on the latest updates and sign up for free email alerts.